There couldn't be a more high-pressure situation as a new team coming into things, right? You come into this tournament and you are the home team, without a doubt. You've never really played against a lot of Tier 1 teams before. You're going to play on stage with people cheering your name, wanting to be able to support you, wanting you to be able to do well. That high pressure, no doubt, showed in Game 1 as Signify, they just fell very short of TNC. So hopefully we're going to see a much better Game 2 from them as the nerves are kind of shrugged off. Blitz, what are you thinking about Signify's chances here in Game 2, looking at their draft?
Stalker. I think that Night Stalker is one of those heroes that, like, he's such a weird hero, but for some reason, Signify really likes picking him.
Yeah.
We saw him pick him twice last week. We saw him pick them, I think they picked him once in the group stage, where they just kind of got dusted on. Like, they went for this, like, weird strategy where they would just try to run at you, but the Night Stalker never really came online, so they ended up losing in, like, 15 minutes. Like, it's one of those heroes where, like, I'm not sure what the point of it is.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
we
I
don't
think
really see other pro teams pick this hero.
Oh, nice snag there, TNC. Not letting Signify pick up 3 out of 4 of the bounty runes. The good telekinesis from Tims. It does mean he has telekinesis over Fate Bolt. In the start of the laning phase, we're seeing almost always Rubiks are preferring to have that Fate Bolt for securing the range creep, for being able to harass better against opposing supports, being able to do all these sorts of things. Tims is just going to charge forward now. Look at what Kuku's doing right now. Kuku knows that this lane is going to be tough, knows it's a defensive tri-lane. That's why this man is trying to be as elusive as possible. He's going to sneak on into the back lines and pull the second creep wave.
Yeah, I do like this move. He's just going to make life easier for himself. He's got Devour level 1. He played that greedier style Doom that we saw, but I mean, it also offers them some team fight, which I feel like was missing when he picked that Necrophos for himself as no chance, getting zoned out. This is the worst position to be in, by the way, being some offlaner solo against some Morphling.
Yeah. It is a little bit surprising that Signify are going to go for that defensive tri-lane just because it's going to sell out this Night Stalker so much.
Yeah, and Kuku just dragging the wave. I think he wants to try to bring it to the big camp so that he can eat one of the neutral creeps, but he's actually going to lose one of the creeps. As Crowley is just on top of him the entire time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, like, I kind of feel like he should have just gone for the Devour on the range creep just early.
Dude, it would have refreshed
Nice.
by this point.
Yeah, you could have gotten a second Devour by now. Even though they got one tonight, Kuku will be able to get some of the rest. Do you think it's worse for... I feel like Doom can recover from being shut down like this, whereas Night Stalker needs to have a stronger laning phase.
I think so too. Like, whenever I see this hero, it seems to have like all-out pushing lineups are the way to destroy NS, because when you just push during the day, he has to pop his ult. It's a long cooldown. He can't really go return stuff onto you.
Haste.
Plus, I think like he needs minimum phase boots plus like 1 item.
Yeah.
To be able to really fight.
And he's not like the most dominant team fighter in the world, like a Brewmaster or something. He would prefer smaller pick-off sort of situations.
But we have both safe laners getting more or less free farm, and in mid lane, Armel, I hate playing this matchup as OD versus Lina, mainly because he outranges you, and the way that the Astral works, it just sort of sets up for Lina's stun.
Yeah.
You get good range, you have good heavy burst damage, which is really annoying to play against as an OD. Astral has one of the shortest cast ranges in the game. I know everybody got hyped for that deny, but like...
Good job. Hey, you nicely done pulling the small camp over to be able to deny no chance, at least for the time being, being able to pull the creep wave back. And this just means no chance is going to have to stick around, still trying to get that creep wave, and as a result takes too much damage to actually pull it. And AU successfully forces him out.
Yeah, he's just going to have to reset. He is almost level 3, so... I mean, the crazy part is he's doing better than he did last game.
Oh, look at that stat.
Night Stalker.
9 different heroes of his 10 games for Armel.
Just run it through the ringer. Play all of them at this point. But I think this is a very good Lina game.
Besides the OD matchup, what else makes it a good Lina game?
I think the OD matchup, the Lina matchup the Lina versus TB, like when it comes to the mid game, you outpace really nicely. Plus you get some naturally defensive items like Yule's BKB, makes it really hard for the TB to play. High burst magic damage I think is always nice against TB. You have the option of going for Aghanim, so when he does eventually decide to go for a BKB of his own, you still have a way to kill him, which means that Sunder is a lot less effective. Like Sunder's much better when you get to trade out like that really low HP range, rather than, you know, you have 2,000 HP, you get to 1,000 and you have to Sunder at that point. Then it's not nearly as scary.
And even if like you aren't able to repeatedly kill the TB before he's able to Sunder, at least having that threat always forces him to Sunder at like half HP instead. Feel like there's nothing worse when there's no threat for a TB and he's just able to play like the real min-max game when it comes to Sunder.
Yeah, and you see in mid, Armel, you know, at least when it comes to regen, he's trading out very nicely.
No chance. That's going to be your first blood right there. But bottom lane, at the same time, they went for Kuku. They were just a tad late and won't be able to get that first blood.
I feel like both safe laners completely uncontested. I'm not really sure who you favor in this situation. Like, I do think that like they have Doom plus Morph for the Terrorblade, and Morph, as we saw at TI, is one of the better ways to deal with TB. If you struggle with TB, just become TB yourself.
You've been burned.
Plus, both Agi carries ranged. Like, you're going to build similar items anyways.
Yeah.
To, like, buff up your meta. So it's not even that bad to play that kind of style.
Another smoke gank. It looks like, again, Signify have settled on the game plan of trying to protect Swifty's game as much as possible. They really need to hit this Ice Shards, which they do. Very good setup with their double TPs coming in from TNC. They will actually be able to get the Vengeful Spirit kill instead of Armel dying.
And this is the other thing about like ganking for the OD in that situation. Like this Lina has raindrops, or Fairy Fire, I'm sorry, and Bottle. Just like not an easy kill. The amount of burst that you put out just simply isn't going to be there. Like you have to catch her in the river if you're going to get the kill there. And even then she's liable to just turn it around on you as they're going to make the move. She's going to hit the stun.
Trying to get off more spells, but is going to be imprisoned up. Trying to set up on this. Armel immediately just turns and goes for the Laguna Blade onto Swifty. Swifty trying to battle it out, will end up dying to the Fade Bolt, but doesn't give the experience to Armel.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, you're liable to die in that position every time. Just because once you use the Astral offensively, if you get hit by the Lina stun, you're most likely dead there.
Haste.
And a free farming Morphling is never what you want to see. Negi almost dying. Tims will be able to kill him pretty easily. And look at that body blocking from AU. That is just beautiful. That's going to be enough to get the kill on No Chance as well. Very well played by TNC, body blocking a nighttime Night Stalker, and his game just becomes worse. I had to say, Will, looking at this, you don't want a Night Stalker to have a bad landing phase, otherwise he can't do anything during the night, and you don't want to leave a Morphling alone, but that's exactly what Signify did. They let a Morphling just be able to have a free lane, despite the fact that, like we saw it earlier in the group stage, we had a Morphling that was just constantly pressured.
They
by
tri-laned
like an aggro tri-lane.
It was like Jakiro, Weaver, Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
That they decided to hurt the Morphling with. And it really slowed down his farm. He did end up getting levels, but I think they ended up winning that game against the Morph, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you
But
need
the
to pressure
approach was
Jakiro
still
early on.
effective, right?
Yeah, for sure. As they are going to go on to Kuku, who should die here.
Tim's going to try in with the telekinesis, and Kuku's actually healing so much. Crowley is going to be able to block him in with the Ice Shards, but
path.
Kuku trying to get away, not going to be able to do so. Crowley does not die here. Is not going to be traded off. No Chance may still be found here. Actually managed to heal up a little bit. Maybe it's Tim
He's pretty tanky.
who's out of position now. Look at No Chance trying to get in front of Tim as best as possible. That turns into a twofer. Should have just been a straight pick off on a core, but
I'm surprised
TNC
that
get greedy.
Tim's decided to go for that. He's like a Rubik.
Yeah.
He's got no armor. He dies in like 3 hits to that TB.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like No Chance has very little farm, but he's not that under farmed.
Nah,
You're
Night
still a
Stalker
support,
as a
he's
base
still a
is really
core.
good. Like you have 840 health, you got 5 armor.
Yeah.
Tim's is like 3 armor plus like at that situation you have like 400 HP, 1 nuke plus like 2 right clicks and the TB is gonna kill you. With the meta as well, that was crazy.
So It looks like they're going to give the Night Stalker this bottom lane instead, and our Terrorblade is just going to go full jungle, which Terrorblades are very effective at doing so. So I kind of like the fact that they're changing it up, honestly. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but the previous plan was going to result in disaster. So instead, they give the offlane to the Vengeful Spirit, who's just going to do a little bit of pulling and soak whatever experience he can.
Regeneration.
Fortunately, the Terrorblade is not too far behind this Morphling. Both are free farming, as you said, but there is a very big difference in net worth between our mids. Swifty, currently sitting at 2,500 net worth. Lina, 3,700. That's a massive difference for under 10 minutes in the game.
I'm telling you, man, this Lina matchup, it just does not feel good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's also going the build that we see Gunnar, I think, decides to go a lot on the Lina instead of going for the Eul Scepter.
Yeah.
I sort of like it because it just makes you tankier.
Yeah.
It serves the same purpose as the Eul Scepter. Like, obviously, you can't save yourself, but when it comes to just like pure HP, I think it's a lot better. And Lina's a really good stat-heavy hero.
Yeah.
She's got good talents for that too. So they're gonna go for the smoke, Armel. They want to try to pressure this TB, and I think instead they're probably just gonna run into no chance here. Farming under the tower. If you kill him, then take the tower, not a bad trade, but just getting the kill on no chance by himself as the timer runs out on his Knight. Tim's trying to make his way forward. They're gonna see him in the creep wave here.
He just picked up his level 6.
Oh, they
There's
missed?
no chance going to pop it to try and get out of here. He's going to be able to get into the trees. A couple of misses there from TNC. Another
done
miss there as the
everything.
LSA doesn't land, and no chance. The ball's on this man just to hold onto his darkness like this. Notches another LSA, but finally
he's dead.
he will die. The Laguna Blade comes out.
What a weird situation where he dodged every spell and he still died.
Yeah.
I think he made it too complicated for himself.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah,
tower
trying to
is
survive
under
without popping the ultimate.
Yeah. Also,
But at the same
I think
time,
he could have
like-
just ran up when he went into the tree line.
Yeah.
He ducks down, ran up, but by going through, I think once he saw the Lina stun fly out, he's like, oh, I'm fine. But you're still going to get double nuked and die there.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under
Tim's.
attack.
They're going to pop that Dark Ascension and see if they can catch up with some of these heroes. It looks like Tim's is definitely going to be dying here. TNC do not try and turn around and save him whatsoever. Meanwhile, mid lane, they actually make a go as well onto this Doom, trying to slow him down with the Ice Shards as well as that tag team. And it's going to be enough. AU actually rotated over, and he's going to be beaten back. AU's just trying to protect the tower at this point. Between the Siege Wagon still being alive as well as the Metamorphosis pop, Signify
Radiant's top
should be
tower
able to take this tier 1 unless TNC can rotate more heroes. It's just not possible.
And I really like the way that Signify are playing. I feel like this time they're bringing the fight to them.
Yeah.
This is the first time I feel like I've seen them take a mid tier 1 tower. They're actually doing stuff around the map.
has fallen.
That meta usage, there's two things you can always do with the second TB meta usage, like post-laning phase. It's either you go hit Ancients or you go take mid-tower. And being able to take mid-tower for TB opens up the Ancients for you. Like, it's a safer play to just pop it and hit Ancients. That's oftentimes what we'll see like Ame do.
Yeah.
But if you're able to take that mid-tower with that first rotation of it, I think it's really big. And if you look at TNC's lineup, like this Doom and this Morphling aren't going to rotate in to help defend the tower. So I think this was a really good move by them.
Radiant's mid
It's all set up from them just reading, like, we can make that go at bottom lane, setting up for the push at mid as well. Good basics, just if we didn't lose the laning phase as hard, then Signify could be a lot more dominant at this point. For now, they're just going to have to wait for opportunities to present themselves.
I mean, they're putting a lot into their NS right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see this hero pay off because they're clearly, I mean, it has to be like no chance's best hero. So they really want to make it work.
under attack.
They're going to devote, I mean, an early pick, they're going to give him, they gave him the space of mid, they let him take bottom. Like this hero, you know, I've yet to see where it's going to excel.
Dire's structures are
Yeah, I mean, he still needs like a solid 3 more levels
Yeah.
to get maxed out Void and be able to have a level in your silence. He needs like one good stat item. Like you often say like phase drums on Night Stalker just to help him out. And that very crucial second nighttime is coming up fast, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get those kind of levels and items. Oh, look at this. Armel is going to reveal the Rod of Atos. All that burst damage being thrown out. The Macropyre, they had to go back in with the waveform from Gabby to make sure that Blizzard did indeed die. and he's a little overextended here, but it is a Morphling, and it's a hero that is always tough to go on. Look at that. Gabby just turns into an OD himself. Imprisonment. Dark Ascension goes to the back line. Immediately manages to get the silence onto Armel.
Nice
path is going to be able to create a little bit of distance until the Ice Shards come in. Armel is going to be saved once again by Gabby here. This time it's going to be the Imprisonment, the defensive one, but Swifty is there to land some damage, give an offensive Imprisonment to be able to finish him off. Tim's is going to be blocked inside the trees as well. That's going to be 2 down. TNC are not able to fight. As you said, Doom, Morphling, these kind of heroes just aren't ready to fight right now, and it's good that Signify is trying to force engagements.
Yeah, I mean, that Morphling and the Doom are in no position to take that engagement. Like, Morphling just doesn't really have enough items. They did manage to take down Blizzard, but good news for Signify is he's not that far away from his Manta style. Like, this is still a pretty early Manta. And most TBs, like, they just simply don't have levels. Like, they can't keep up in levels due to the fact that you're just going to send your illusion out to farm out the wave. So you're really just getting neutral creep experience. Well, he's not even doing that bad in that regard either. It is what ended up getting him killed at top, though.
Yeah.
Like, being able to show in lane. Like, normally what ends up happening is, like, TBs get under-leveled relative to other cores. That's sort of how, like, the hero balances out. Because you send out your illusion to push out the waves, because it's just not safe to do so. You're almost always going to secure the range creep for yourself once you have a Yasha. And with a little bit of, like, last hit trickery, you can usually just clear out the wave. Like, your illusions are so strong. You use your main hero to hit neutral creeps. Done.
TNC get 3 bounty runes, and this is the start of that 15-minute nighttime that is so important for the Night Stalker to show his worth. So it's already off to kind of a bad start, if I'm honest, the fact that you just kind of like give up 3 bounties like that. We'll see if it changes, as No Chance is going to head up to the top lane to make sure that Swifty can pressure this tier 1. No chance that TNC really shows up, though.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to sit around mid. They know they don't need to protect their safe lane tower. They're not a team that needs to fight as much as possible. And I mean, Blitz, you've said it over and over again. Don't give away your mid tower.
Don't give away your mid tower.
And that's just what happened.
Yeah. But they are going to group up and actually make an aggressive move into this top tower.
I mean, I like that they're going for 2.
Yeah.
This makes the trade a lot more worth it.
I mean, they're just trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of that. Like, trying to create stuff around the map. I feel like last game they were way too passive.
Yeah.
Like, for the first, like, 20 minutes of the game, the only move they made was to contest that Roshan. This time around, they're getting out there. They're taking towers. The net worth lead is still in favor of TNC just because TNC, they've got naturally the greedier heroes. They have Flash Farmers and the Lina.
You know what I would have liked is honestly if they went high ground at that point, just to force TNC back.
It's a little bit scary. Like, when you don't have meta, there's no chance.
Like maybe just because the Rod of Atos, they have so much long range catch that maybe it's too dangerous.
I'm trying to actually like think about that move. They had meta for like 10 more seconds or something like that.
I think it was a little longer than that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like 3/4 of the way through when they killed tier 2. Or 1/4 of the way through.
I see. I guess it wouldn't have been the worst idea.
Gabby just fearlessly going in, and really, this Morphling OD combination, it is so much catch. He could just waveform and freely imprison people.
Yeah.
Because nobody can really turn on him right now. The fact that he has this Linken's and just can morph in his strength as much as possible, that is something that Signify are going to have to be a bit careful of.
This morph isn't that scary yet, though. But once he gets the E-Blade,
Yeah.
that's when it's like, ooh.
It would be scarier if TNC was stronger in team fights right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, they just haven't really gotten a lot of participation out of their Doom yet. I mean, Cuckoo, he's got good farm, but he's 0-3-0. Hasn't really participated in this game yet. Just kind of feels like, as an offlaner, Cuckoo's just a lot greedier.
Yeah.
He really likes creeps.
Which is weird when they pick him like, it shows like, okay, pick Necrophos, that's a very greedy offlaner. But when they picked him like Clockwork,
Yeah.
that was so weird.
You want to at least like drop your Doom at least once this game.
Yeah.
Like pre-20 minutes. Being able to take fights early on, like just because you have a hero that has a farming mechanism doesn't mean you only farm.
Blink forward, Swifty K. Thought there was going to be a purpose to that. Not quite, though. 7-8, 18 minutes in, a 5,000 net worth lead right now for TNC. But Signify are trying to take an objective here, and it's being pinged out by TNC. They're going to Macropyre inside the pit, the Ice Path as well. Going to be able to catch the TB. This Terrorblade is pretty tanky, though. And he's going to be forced out of the pit, but won't be in danger of dying anytime soon. With the meta popped, and it's still being nighttime, too. It feels like Signify, they want something to happen, but they don't feel comfortable the way this team fight is set up with TNC sitting on the high ground. They're going to swap back to Doom. Look at that, Armel blinking forward, trying to catch something there. Doom, nice stun with the follow-up Ice Path as well. Signify just grouped up so much. They did manage to get the imprisonment onto Armel. They need to finish him off, and Armel does get imprisoned by that Morphling. It's going to be safe for the moment time being, but he's come back, blinks away. Lina actually survives. Gabby's now going to turn on a Swifty as well. 2 supports dead. TNC wipe out the Terrorblade as well. Armel comes back for revenge. What a beautiful save from Gabby. And now, as a result, not only does Armel kill the TB,
He's got him.
He kills Nightstalker as well. He man fights it up. It's all because Gabby got a little confusing there, imprisonment after imprisonment, but it's Gabby's defensive imprisonment that he ran forward and used it on Lina, saving him. Lina then blinked out as a result. He comes back into the fight and kills the TB as well as the Nightstalker.
And they're going to get the Aegis for this too. You see Negi in position. He's going to wait in the corner. Crowley going to snowball himself in, and this might have just been suicide by him.
Oh.
Roshan is not nearly low enough, and they're just throwing bodies at this pit at this point.
You know, Mr. Crowley, I can't blame you too much for that one. It worked last time.
He's trying to go for the swap. He's going to walk in.
Can he actually get it? There's a Lincolns that's going to be able to prevent the stun on Gabby.
That was a
which
very
means
valiant
he
effort.
was free to be able to do whatever he wanted.
I mean, that was a decent attempt. You've got to go for something there. You're a level 7 Venge. If you get that, you get the last hit, or you get the Aegis, it's probably more than worth your life. But they're not going to have the same luck this time around as... I mean, they got completely mopped up. They must have lost 7 heroes there. People just started throwing themselves into the Roshan pit after. Now you've got an Aegis Morphling who's about to come online in a big way. It's almost got that E-Blade. None of the supports are really going to be able to survive against this. I mean, this E-Blade's just effective against everyone.
Yeah.
It's great against the OD. You take away his ability to attack as well as just making him like immediately backpedal. He doesn't really have defensive items. No HP regen, no Force Staff for him. It does have a Blink Dagger, but if you start a fight half HP as an OD, it sucks. You can't really get in there. You can't really build up those stacks the same way. I mean, he's getting an Atos now, but really what he needs is a BKB because everybody just magic bursts him down almost immediately. Plus, you're about to get an Aghanim Scepter on Lina, so Armel's already thinking of the next level. He's like, well, they have to get BKB. They have to see our lineup. They're going to see our E-Blade morph. They're going to have to get BKB. Armel's like, well, here's the perfect counter.
Tier 2 going to be given up here. Gabby does grab that Ethereal Blade that we were talking about. And Mr. Crowley,
You're gone.
Just a little bit too far forward, and there is so much long-range catch from TNC. You can't go out there like that. There's a Blink Dagger on the Rubik now with an Ether Lens, maxed out Arcane Supremacy as well, so the telekinesis lasts a good while. And Signify, I don't know if they're deciding they can't actually fight TNC.
I don't think they can fight right now.
They're just going to give up Elena Brax?
I don't think this is the right idea, but I'm not really sure what the right idea is anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you, I mean, you probably have like one last fight in you. This TB has meta for a little bit longer. You've got to be careful here. Any sort of catch is going to be a kill as Blizzard. They want to try to use the meta. The snowball is going to come in, but it's so far away. It is going to land on a Cuckoo.
That is a really great Ice Shards. Locking out 2 different heroes. They will be able to get both of them while the rest of TNC are kind of shut out of that team fight. Now, Gabby is going to be targeted here by No Chance. Unfortunately, there's still that Lincoln, so Gabby is free. Well, okay, he does get imprisoned. Can they lock him down here? Crowley does not have the Walrus Punch. They need to be able to get that magic missile. Doesn't actually land. Gabby waveforms away in time.
Yeah, and they wanted to reset. Armel would have loved to turn that fight, but he was completely out of mana. So he made the tactical decision. They're like, guys, it's only 2 supports. We got a full set of racks. We still have, how much longer in the Aegis? I think you have enough to take at least 1 more racks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got 2 minutes. If the rest of your team meets up, you've got Boots of Travel on Lina. She'll join you shortly. You get another attempt at the cost of 2 supports. I think it's well worth it.
Rod of Atos next for Swifty. Not really sure if that's going to be a game changer for you, but I don't know, Blitz, what's a better item? Can you just go BKB? Is that going to be better for you?
I don't know.
It's just,
'cause-
there's so many problems here.
You're so far behind in net worth. Like 23 minutes in, you don't expect the Aghanim Scepter on Lina.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's just matching. TNC's matching you like item progression for item progression. Like the E-Blade Lincolns at 20 minutes is absurdly quick.
Yeah.
I don't think they expected that either. So like going for that build means you have to force out BKBs on the side of Signify, but like we talked about the Aghanim's problem that the Lina provides. And with 1 minute left on Gabby's Aegis, they know that Blizzard doesn't have meta, at least for a little bit. They don't know how close it might be. It's going to be 10 seconds until he does have it up, so he's trying to take advantage of that timing. As the Morphling's going to go all the way to 1 health. As the push going down towards the bottom lane.
Two-man smoke up, no chance.
Everybody from TNC is hiding up here. They're trying to catch somebody as the wave comes in, but not really going to do too much with this. Armel pushing in this wave, and not a lot of time left on this Morphling. The Aegis about to expire, so instead they're just going to go back to the Shrine, reset things up, get control of this area, and they're in no rush at all. They really don't want to make any mistakes against this Terrorblade.
Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
That should help.
12 to 15, 25 minutes in, 16,000 gold lead. See Signify just kind of chilling out here, trying to hold and extend this game as much as possible. But the problem is, I do like the fact that Signify are at least pushing out in like at 25 minutes, trying to secure some bounty runes, hoping for like some sort of small pickoff. But TNC at this point, there's no reason for them to ever split up. They can just eventually wait for that next Roshan, get that next Aegis, get the cheese, go for the high ground push.
And
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
TNC just being really patient, waiting things out. They could even opt to wait for the next Aegis if you want to absolutely secure the game.
All right, Gabby is apparently just gonna go for the high ground push. She's just gonna start banging on that tier 3. And
Dire's bottom
I mean, Signify have got to come back at some point in time. You need your Night Stalker, you need your Terrorblade here. You just can't give away a second lane of racks for free.
double.
Signify, they seem a little lost. They don't know how to be able to start this fight. They don't know how they can beat TNC in a team fight. Finally, the bottom wave push is going to force TNC back, but that's a tier 3 in range racks given up for free.
And Signify, I mean, I think they're just afraid of, if you lose a fight in front of your base like that, you're just going to get mega creeped and you probably have to call it anyways. But you can't just afford to give away towers for free and buildings. And not like this. You're down 17k. I think what they're relying on this point is maybe our TB if he gets 6 slotted, maybe if our OD gets 6 slotted, we just hold the high ground. TNC will make a mistake, but they'd have to make like 2 really costly unforced errors, similar to what we saw in Keen versus Na'Vi yesterday, for this to be some sort of comeback.
And TNC has shown that they're like a strong enough team. They're very disciplined in that regard. I think when they're ahead by this much, they don't make those kind of errors.
I mean, I thought
So
the
it'd be
same thing
rather-
about Keen yesterday, but
Yeah, that's true. But this time around, there's no holy locket on anybody. Night Stalker just gonna again try and split push out that bottom wave, hoping to get it going, hoping to be able to push it into the tier 3 to prevent TNC from going high ground again. But I guess this is just really going to come down, this whole entire game is just going to come down to the fact that we're going to have a Roshan spawn and Signify are just going to have to go for that like kind of dream smoke engagement where they interrupt the Roshan, win the team fight, get that kill, and then finally they can take some map control. Other than that, the only other option is just sit in high ground and have 1 or 2 people go and push out a wave.
yeah, they do almost have a BKB on no chance. Like, maybe that's your timing. I'm not really sure what else you're supposed to be in, like what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
If you're TNC, it's easy. Just like, at this point, you might as well wait for the Aegis. Like, you waited this long. You haven't ended the game before that. Just set out your waves. You've taken the mid racks and the bottom or the top racks, so you're in perfect position as they know he's there.
They saw it from the Wave of Terror. He was somewhere around there. They didn't quite catch him with any of the spells from the Jakiro. We've got BKB coming in soon for Armel. There was another BKB almost complete, I believe. That is the Night Stalker, has it?
Yeah, no chance.
So maybe that'll change things up, especially with the BKB not being there for Armel. If he's just able to have his magic immunity and just kind of run at that Lina.
She's got it. She's going to sell the
Yeah,
Toss
okay,
Man
never
before they
mind.
complete it. So now Armel's just like in a perfect position. It's so hard for him to die. No chance, can't be over aggressive because he will just get Laguna Bladed and die. So I guess they're going to be,
Well, Roshan's up.
yeah, Signify is going to wait on the high ground. I think they most likely just concede the Roshan. If you weren't willing to fight over your range racks, you're probably not willing to fight under Aegis, even though I think that Aegis on the Morphling just effectively ends the game.
Good push is coming in the bottom. Unfortunately, it's just like there's no real momentum there. They're just going to trust the tier 3 to beat it back. No one from TNC is going to head down to that lane.
Yeah, there's no illusions
But
in place.
Signify are doing the right thing right now, which is going to be smoking up and trying to take the engagement. They are going to be able to run into the Doom. That's a great pickoff. They need to be able to get into the Roshan pit as quick as possible, though, because Gabby and Armel have almost finished it off. No chance trying to get in there with his BKB. He's just going to be a tad too late. The cheese on the deck is going to be grabbed. It's not by the Night Stalker, though. He's going to be imprisoned up. Armel, his BKB is just going to be left languishing here inside of the pit. Actually going to be saved by a Glimmer Cape. They don't have any counter detection. Oh no! He managed a BKB, blink away. Gabby's going to be targeted by that Terrorblade, but now the Terrorblade's going to be doomed up, controlled. Fortunately, there's going to be that imprisonment once again. No chance. He's trying to finish off Gabby as much as possible, but no, the waveform over to the high ground. He's going to be able to survive by swapping back over to the Terrorblade. Mr. Crowley's dead. The OT's going to come back into an imprisonment. The Ice Path just will not save him here. He's just going to be LSA. Oh, he actually does manage to blink away before the AoE damage was there. Lina was just a little bit late on
they've
that
got
one.
him
Still,
trapped.
though, found by Tim's. Telekinesis toss back.
And once again, he is going to Astral himself, but this time around should go down. The waveform is actually mistimed.
There's 3 different imprisonments going on in these fights.
It's actually so confusing.
Morphling, OD, and Rubik. You can tell Rubik's because it just lasts,
lasts so
forever.
That's why the waveform just completely whiffs. But a 5-man team wipe, an Aegis. If they had detection there, maybe they kill Armel. He was able to swap into the cheese.
Oh, definitely. 100% he was dead.
If they had vision there, I think that fight actually changes.
Burns doesn't use structures.
Or at least it gives you a better chance because Armel doesn't have buyback.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have the gold for buyback. You get into a 4-on-5 situation, all of a sudden, if you kill at least one more hero or at least one more support, you can give yourself at least the odds.
Swap back. Negi gives his life for Mr. Crowley, which means the Snowball's going to be able to come in and stun up the Morphling, but a great LSA. They're just going to focus on this Terrorblade, make sure that he's damaged enough that he can't fight possibly. No chance going to be forced to use his BKB. Sunder going off. Cuckoo already healing from all that Devour regen, though, and TNC is just going to leave AU to die. It looks like Tim's gives him the imprisonment, but
The fake
this
Jakiro.
is a man that does not have a Blink Dagger for himself, so
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
TNC will not be able to claim Megas yet.
I think they went a little bit too ham trying to get kills.
Yeah.
Just end the game right there. But I mean, they've at least taken the tier 3, which is quite important. Just one little more push in the right direction is going to wrap up this game for TNC. Blizzard, I mean, still quite farmed. It's just they're so far behind on the rest of the heroes.
Yeah.
That taking team fights is so rough.
His damage always looks good, but it's so single target focused that things like this Ethereal Blade, the fact that he can turn into an OD and do a defensive imprisonment for one of his allies, also the fact that they're super statted up and tanky on all these heroes. Like if the Terrorblade was just able to go against Selena that had Yule Scepter and just would throw damage at him and he would just die so quickly, it would be nice. But unfortunately, this Lina is incredibly statted up, sitting at 2,200 HP with a BKB as well. Doesn't even have the plate mail in his actual inventory. It's just sitting in the stash right now.
Oh, look at Gappy, by the way. He went BKB. He was thinking about getting a butterfly. Like, he had the quarterstaff bot. He immediately sold it, and he's like, guys, I want to end this game. I'm tired of this.
Blink in, Rod of Atos. Trying to put some damage onto No Chance as best as possible. There is going to be
Nice
the snowball
dodge.
save. Now, he still took the Laguna Blade damage, but it does give the chance for him to be able to pop his BKB and at least turn and fight, but Armel has BKB of his own. Gabby's taking a lot of damage here. Aegis not going to die just yet. They need to be able to finish off this first life with the Morphling now, otherwise they're just going to run out of time. Negi going to swap back Blizzard. Is going to be a good play because Blizzard was not controlled up by that Doom, but unfortunately he's just lacking the targets to be able to lay damage into. No one's being disabled on the side of TNC, so they're just kind of kiting him around, and that Metamorphosis is going to run out eventually. Fortunately, the Courier did die for the Vengeful Spirit Illusion. He managed to stop the BKB there of Gabby, but he still has that Aegis. To be honest, it just seems like that BKB isn't really needed for him.
Yeah, he still has a minute on the Aegis. They want to try to push into the high ground here as the swap comes
Swap
in.
back in, okay. Negi's going to give his line to be able to kill his support. Cuckoo came in, managed to hit a two-man stun.
Nice
OD
imprisonment.
That one dodged the Laguna Blade, and Armel being locked in by the Ice Shards. They can actually win this fight. They're going to be able to take down that one core. Gabby in the back lines tries to go for the TB. Managed to Manta off his own
Aegis is gone.
illusions. He's going to be able to chase Gabby a little bit. Unfortunately, they just didn't have any stuns left.
And TNC recycled a lot of buybacks there.
Yeah.
They thought this was going to be the game-deciding fight, but Morph without BKB. The Courier Snipe actually ended up mattering quite a bit there.
It did.
If he has his BKB, he's not afraid of the TB Reflect. He's able to just go in. He's not afraid of the Sunder. Maybe he just gets into the back line, starts two-shotting people, but without the BKB, not really feeling it for himself. And Signify did a really good job using their defensive abilities there. They were able to dodge out the Laguna Blade almost entirely on one.
Yep.
They were able to save the TB for the time being, allow him to get the Sunder off. Not a bad sequence of events whatsoever for them.
Giants are scanning.
Really goes to show, like, this, I mean, it's a very sick combination, right? The fact that you have this reflection that you can throw on people, and then Vengeful Spirit will Wave of Terror, lowering their armor and just making that reflection even more powerful. We see it time and time again that this Morphling is very threatened by that, and as you said, that's why he needed the BKB in that last engagement. We'll see whether or not TNC just plays it safe and waits for the Courier to come back, get that BKB. Hell, he'll probably be close to Butterfly at that point, which is going to be massive against TB and OD, neither of which wants to be able to go for an MKB. Our win percent drifting up just a tad. Was at 100% almost twice there, but is now drifted up to maybe 95%. That's because TNC still hold a 22,000 net worth lead. Experience, honestly, isn't even worth talking about.
Yeah, they didn't really get any damage on that last set of racks, though.
Yeah.
Is a positive for Signify. And, I mean, if they go for those sick outplays, you can see how they can hold. It's not easy, and they still have a long road ahead of them, but now your TB is so dangerous. Like, you look at Blizzard, he's 6-slotted up, he just finished the Daedalus. This man is terrifying.
Gonna run into the Vengeful Spirit here. Okay. Maybe they could go for Tim's. No chance. Pops the silence just to make sure he can't get controlled up by telekinesis as they do retreat. Too afraid to fight by a shrine, as they should be.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Gabby just keeps on turning into a Terror Blade and throwing his own illusions at bottom lane, which is kind of just locked Blizzard here. He can't go anywhere else. I do like the Daedalus choice because at least he just needs a little bit more burst damage on these heroes because they're clearly suffering in disables.
Oh, for sure. They're having a really hard time actually locking people down right now.
Yeah.
But the BKB is now delivered to the Morphling. It's going to make him a lot more confident to get into that back line.
Mr. Cali pops the dust, trying to burst down Tims. That Walrus Punch doing so much damage with the Spirit Vessel as well. Tims will eventually die. Swifty fully commits to that one to the left-hand side. It looks like Negi is going to end up falling here with the Doom onto the OD. He is very dead, but he does have buyback.
That was the BKB completed, or committed by the Doom. And with the buyback from the OD, maybe they're able to hold this. The instant buyback from Crowley. None
It's
on the
weird that
Vengeful
they chose
Spirit,
to go for an engagement without the Terror Blade.
Yeah.
Maybe they
they're
thought
only damage, guys.
Yeah. Especially like Swifty blinking in, committing for a support.
And now the Morphling just sending out illusions. Does probably want to use this Morph Timer, at least to get the meta off.
How do you set this up as the Night Stalker? Who are you gunning for?
Probably try to get to the backline if you can, or at least put pressure on the Lina with your BKB.
Yeah, just you BKB, run at him, force him to use his own BKB. Snowball to start things off onto Gabby. Walrus Punch will be able to hold him out a little bit. Blizzard goes ahead, pops his BKB, starts laying some damage into Gabby, but can't get him. The waveform managed to drift him away. No chance is going to go for that backline, as you suggested. Hits the Jakiro at first, realizes maybe Gabby's the better target here, as he's actually running out of strength here, but now the BKB down on the Terrorblade, he's susceptible to the stuns, but they do manage to get a Walrus Punch onto Armel. He's taking so much physical damage.
Armel's
Can he
dead.
actually finally lock down these heroes and kill them? They will be able to get it, but the shotgun, it comes through, gets the TB. Swifty from the backline with all that intelligence gets to the actually get Gabby. Please tell me you're going to kill this Morphling for once. He knocks back the Night Stalker. OD gets imprisoned as well by Tims, who's going to be able to get the telekinesis follow-up. There's just too much disable on the side of TNC that the OD, the Terrorblade, they just can't seem to do the damage that they want to do. The silence comes out from No Chance. Now he's going to get Ethereal Bladed, though.
Oh,
Won't
Gabby
be able to
with
run
the
down
short.
these supports. Gabby gets a little bit too far forward here. Reflection goes out. Blizzard
gone.
trying to get him. Does actually get him with the 2 crits. Blizzard back-to-back crits to be able to finish off that Morphling. He finally does it. It costed them every single buyback in a desperate hole, but Signify will stay alive for now.
Did you see that waveform, the second one?
Yeah, what
He
the hell
barely
was
went
that?
forward. And that actually ended up getting him killed. He committed hard for it.
Yep.
Very surprising set of situations there that we see.
But the net worth lead has still not changed for TNC, and there's going to be another Roshan coming in. They've got both the armor items now, the big Shivas, as well as the AC. Cuckoo just needs to be able to put the items together for that one, but maybe if he gets ganked here, Blizzard, he's waiting for his support. He's like, guys, I found the kill. I've got the double damage. Please just show up, and we can beat this Doom down with this DD. He has been doomed himself. Cuckoo's just trying to get as much damage to make sure he can trade off with the DD, and he is actually going to die. They don't have the damage anymore. It was just a Venge and a Terrorblade trying to make plays together, and it wasn't enough.
This is going to be such a rough way for them to lose the game. They were so confident. Our DD Terrorblade is going to chunk this Doom, but instead Cuckoo's really tanky. He's got Crimson Guard AC, he pops the Doom, he turns around and fights. The Vengeful Spirit doesn't really add anything aside from her aura in that situation.
Yeah.
So it's really just the DD Terrorblade trying to fight heads on. And now they're just going to go for the high ground. They know there's no buyback on it, and this should be the completion of the game, and this is a disappointing way to lose this one.
Are under attack.
Signify did such a great job holding on imprisonment for imprisonment. The OD is just going to last a little bit longer. He's immediately going to be Ice Path, LS8 as well, and just burns us down. Too much pure damage. No Chance tries to come in, does manage to get a bash on Armel, but they've already called it. They know it is game over. TNC have proven themselves to be the much better team here with a very clean 2-0 dominant victory for Southeast Asia.
Yeah, TNC, very good showing by them. A lot of discipline. You saw 1 or 2 throwing moves, but
Yeah.
I mean, you got to at least commend Signify for this effort. They got this game to a point where I didn't think they could.
A lot of love still being given by the home crowd
Yeah, what a crowd.
for their chosen team. I mean, they knew Signify was definitely the underdogs here, and it's just, you know, happy just to be able to see them play on the stage and be able to get the experience. We saw, you know, the glimmers. We saw the strong individual plays at times. We saw the, you know, some sick holds, the Roshan play in game 1. We saw the brilliant defense by them in one of those team fights at bottom. You know, we saw little bits of Signify that proved that if they can just continue to improve, find their identity as a team, and just shake off some of those nerves, they could definitely be a stronger team and could match up against somebody like TNC in the future.
Yeah, my favorite part about this game by them was the fact that they still just decided to go for it. They took some fights.
Yeah.
They actually decided to go for towers. You saw that they weren't nearly as fearful as they were in game number 1. It ends up being the same result, but at least a much better showing by them this time around.
All right, with that, TNC is going to be moving on through the lower bracket. We go now to Ari, who I believe has Cuckoo on the stage.
I am here with Cuckoo. TNC take the win. And you're getting love from the crowd. You're getting love from the crowd. Kuku, run us through about how was the entire game against Signify for you? How were they as a team?
I think we are so prepared about them because we watch how they play. Then they have a good strat that they will just try lane me. So I know that. So that's it.
You're prepared. One thing I want to know as well, during that time, it was a game 2, late game, Gabby dove in and he got killed. Were you guys worried at any point when that happened?
We just asked him, why you do that? Then
We were all asking, I think, at that point as well. Kuku, quick question. I mean, you see Signify, of course. This is their first time in an international LAN. Is there anything positive that you can say, of course, with Signify moving forward as a team?
I think it's a great experience for them that they compete with other region because I think in their first time, so I think it's good for them.
And that's great. Well, there you have it. Kuku, you just took down the home team. Of course, that means you have to win this entire tournament now for India, right? Can you do it?
Just one by one.
One by one. Just one by one. Give it up for Kuku of TNC. Throwing it back to Paul now and the panel.
Thank you very much, Harry. Yes, it is goodbye, unfortunately, for Signify here in India and in the opening round of the lower bracket. I guess, gents, it was kind of predictable, but at the same time, I feel like they've put up a really good fight in this game. Not just in this game, but in the series overall. They've shown what they can do. They've shown us some strategies. They've shown us that they've got some fight in them as well, which is great as well. And as Kuku rightly said, it bodes well for the future for them. Great experience. They can build from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw in that game, again, that was the first 40-minute plus game for them.
It was.
So it's
Yep.
these baby steps that are just building up more and more. You know, we saw a couple of times talking about Gabby diving maybe a little bit too far, but I don't think that's necessarily just a misplay for Gabby, right? It can be put onto Signify, who can bait him in, think he's safe to go in, and then, you know, it's these little victories that are going their way more and more, and I hope they can continue to grow off that.
Yeah, absolutely. Put up a decent fight in front of the home fans. Toby, you can't ask for much more than that.
I really couldn't. I was really hoping that the VS and the Tunscar would play a huge role, and they did exactly that, especially the VS in that like never-ending siege of the bottom lane. Like it was just swap after swap that was just putting them in a great position. You get a quick kill and move on to the next one. It was such a hard ask, however. Like there was only so much damage a TerraBlade can pump out, and he really was just he had to be the hero for the team.
Yep, he did. TNC, Danog, obviously straightforward in the sense that people will look at this online and go, oh, 2-0 to TNC, yeah, that looks about right as far as... But they didn't have it all their own way, and there were some mistakes, there were some sloppy bits of play. I guess it doesn't matter in the end because they just make their way through, and you have to, as Kuku said at the end, one by one. You just have to keep doing each game as it comes. But they've been given a tougher game than perhaps many people thought.
I think that might actually be good for them, right? Like, you don't want to ever get complacent at a tournament. And I feel like in the upper bracket, perhaps that's kind of how they were. But now that they've had a pretty competitive series against Signify, the home team, they might have had the whole crowd not necessarily cheering for them, obviously wanting to support their home team. Now they're prepared. Now they're prepared for that second round, for the 5th, 6th slot to be able to try and move forward to top 4.
Yep. 5th, 6th is the best they've ever done at an ESL 1. Let's, before we go on, I really want to hear from our Indian friends in Signify. So why don't we get some words from Mr. Crowley?
Mr. Crowley, indeed. Thank you so much, Paul. I think he's coming in right here. Mr. Crowley, I'm one of your biggest fans now, sir. It was a rough series, but listen to that crowd out there, buddy. I know it's not great going home, but talk to me, though. Is it kind of still a positive experience, being able to play on the stage, playing against these teams?
Definitely not a positive experience. We expected to do a bit better, but I guess I can digest the last game for now, so it's fine.
All right. Well, sir, I want to talk to you about just kind of you guys and your journey now moving on. Obviously, out of this tournament for now, but it's a pretty big moment for Indian Dota, and I think you guys have a lot more fans around the world. What's next for you guys?
We'll just keep playing whatever tournament comes and hopefully qualify to more tournaments like these. So I really like playing in front of a stage and a crowd, so looking forward to more tournaments like this.
All right. You could use this opportunity to hype them up. Go ahead, hype them up. They're listening to you back there.
Even though we are out, I hope you guys like cheer your hearts out for all the other Dota teams since it's the first event in Mumbai. And I think this is where you shout.
Perfect. Sir, it is heartbreaking to see you guys go, but it was an incredible fight. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Crowley, and I'll never forget the name Mr. Crowley, my favorite Indian Dota player. All right, thank you so much, brother.
Good stuff. Thanks very much, Sir Action Slacks. Yeah, I don't know if he's... as I said, he started on day one as Mr. Crowley. I think he then went to Lord Crowley, not quite Prince Crowley yet.
No, not yet.
But he's on the way. Certainly becoming a bit of a favourite of ours, that's for sure. Certainly Sir Action Slack's favourite Indian player. TNC march on. Eri said at the end of the interview, you have to support TNC now as they make their way through. It's still it's a tough ask, Toby, to go through that lower bracket and win the whole thing.
It really is, especially when TNC have those small hiccups in their play. Like their draft looks good, but there's still some definite positional issues that they need to solve out because the other teams will not be as kind to them. They will punish a lot harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Danok, final word on the performance of Signify.
I think they should be very proud. I know Mr. Crowley said that it wasn't quite up to their expectations, and that's good to know.
No, I think that's positive, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, they've got a set goal that they want to make for themselves, and I think they should be very proud of how they've been so far, and hopefully we see them at more lands in the future.
Yeah, indeed. Standout players for you both? Who are you going to pick out?
Honestly, if I had to pick one from both teams, I'll go with Crowley from Signify. He was fantastic on that Tiny in the first game, and then very active with his roaming on the Tusk, getting a lot done. If I had to give it for TNC, probably Gabby, although Armel did a lot of work as well on that space creating mid.
I almost want to give just a little bit of praise to Cuckoo for being willing to stand up on the stage there and say, you know what, I knew they were going to try and lean against me, so I just picked the hero who can just sit in the lane and potentially just keep up. Like, I'm willing to be the punching bag for my team, so always give it to the guy who supports his team.
Yeah. How far can TNC go then, Toby?
I think the next round is going to be their biggest test. Like, as I said, like it's one game at a time. I don't know really what comes from the next series. It's very 50-50 for me.
I think they could get top 4. I think top 4 is right about where they're at.
Okay, which would still be better than they've ever done at an ESL 1 as well.
Yep, you always want to see that growth.
Yeah, well, I mean, every team here is now going to do better than they've ever done at an ESL 1, I think, as far as they're concerned. Mineski, for instance, in the upper bracket, already guaranteed doing better than they've ever done before.
just wait for Na'Vi to lose both of their series, and then all of a sudden it's third.
Yeah, Na'Vi have finished second before.
Yeah, they got a second in Frankfurt.
So, yeah,
and Complexity. Complexity still need to win this upcoming
their
series.
fifth and sixth is their best as well, so they need one more win as well. Highlights, obviously, at the end of the game. Itself, I feel kind of sad that we lose our Indian team in this first round. I know it was kind of predicted, but I'm still sad for them.
Yeah, but they'll still be here. They'll still be watching the Dura. I'm sure they'll get a chance to say hi to the fans and everything like that.
Hopefully some nice signing sessions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some time out there. How does it compare to some of the other regions that we've seen come to the fore? I mean, I'm thinking mainly Brazil, Peru, teams that we had heard about and we'd seen play online a little bit and thought, oh, cool, there's a scene down there. Didn't even know there was a scene in that country. Cool. Would love to see them qualify for an international. Oh, they've qualified for... Oh, they kind of sucked. Well, I hope they get back to another one. And then, they've kind of sucked again. But eventually, they've managed to break through. We've seen the Brazilians come through fantastically well over the last 18 months or so. How does the Indian scene do that?
It's about building their infrastructure, right? Like, they need to be able to have, like, a scene where they can compete themselves, where together they grow in skill, and then they can attend or have events like this which bring teams to them, or they go to these events, and they're able to compete. They bring that experience back to India, and they continue to grow up. In that kind of bubble.
And not even just bring teams to them, bring players to them, because I think that's the big thing that really, we're talking about South America, leapfrog them to be up at that next stage. Weeha, Misery, all these sorts of international talent that are very experienced, coming and showing that leadership, and this is what needs to be done for you to get to that next level.
Yeah. How's that been for Australia?
It's been all right. Not too many people have come to Australia, to be honest. So.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
We still need to send some Dota down there. But anyone from ESL 1's listening, we'd love an ESL 1 Dota.
I would be very happy with that. So.
He'd be very happy with that. Again, growth for them. But we were talking about TNC much in the same way, not that long ago. Right? So it shows what's possible.
Yeah, and then I think the first stage is, like, this was obviously put their name up in light, Signify here. If they can take a surprise series off a more well-respected opponent, then the sky's the limit for them, I think.
Tony?
I think if they just have a good draft, I think they can play toe-to-toe. Like, you already saw them playing at the same level as TNC. It just felt like their draft just
didn't allow them to.
I felt like they were hindered before they even had the foghorn sound. So they need to have even just a good coach may be enough for Signify just to move forward.
All right. Okay. Well, you're both two of my favourite people, and I love listening to you. But there's another man that I hold dear to my heart as well, and that's Purge. So let's check in with him and see what he's got for us from game number 2.
Signify put up a really good fight in that game, but the laning stage that they had wasn't as good as TNC Predator, but not too expected considering how good TNC is. The crucial thing is that they had a single off-lane hero versus 2 of the enemy team, and they had a safe tri-lane versus 2 of TNC. And this actually mattered in a big way. In terms of level 1, you walk to the lane as Night Stalker, you've got this beautiful 45 damage nuke over there, Void, but as you approach the creep wave, the other support's going to rotate in and zone you out by both him and the carry right-clicking you. Very normal stuff that we expect to see. And then on the other side of the map, what ended up going on is that TNC is hiding with the Rubik. Now he's got boots here, which is crucial in a moment. For now, it looks like he's not doing anything, but he's about to. And what Doom ends up doing is pulling the creep wave. So if we take a look at the mini-map really quick, what he's doing is standing here, grabbing the creep wave, and then running back to his tower like this. That way he can get some experience, unlike the Night Stalker. And in the meantime, what Rubik is doing, actually, he's over here. He's creeping down into the trees. That way, if there are any Radiant creeps, he can get some of that experience. And when there's pulls that happen from the Radiant supports, like the Venge, then he can contest those a little bit and try to limit their gold gain. Now, the problem is that the Tusk is doing some damage to the Doom. He's getting down to about half HP. But in the same time, Night Stalker tries to do the same thing, trying to pull creeps, but Jakiro rotates over, and unfortunately, it aggroes the small camp. So basically, he's getting fully zoned, and he's giving his opponent a pull, which isn't as good, and it doesn't offset the map. So he's not getting last hits. He's not able to pull a creep wave. And the main reason that didn't work is because of where he pulled it. In the meantime, Doom is also able to use Devour on a neutral camp, so he gets pretty much everything you want. And here's Night Stalker, completely zoned, 0 last hits at 2 minutes. So if you don't do a good job pulling at the right place, and your supports are able to contest those pulls by pulling in neutrals, you're going to get far behind. And the only benefit to having a tri-lane is getting a kill. They missed their attempt right about here. Instead, Veg went for the last hit instead of trying to kill the Rubik, and that means that their tri-lane didn't work out. So just a quick comparison of the net worth late game, or at the 5-minute mark. Here's our Night Stalker, 900 gold compared to the 1700 of Doom. So Signify has some things to work out in their laning stage.
Good stuff, as usual. Thank you very much. But what I learned out of that was that Jakiro, good. That's what I learned. Don't forget as well, we've got the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays coming up for you after the break as well, where Purge is going to break down one of your choices from the matches. So make sure you do let us know what those are. We'll hear from Purge again after the break. Just get some final thoughts here from our gents on the panel. We're looking forward to Complexity versus Pango next.
I think that's going to be probably the most competitive
I think we might
series
see some spice here.
Oh, it'll be very... What a better place to have some spice.
I knew you'd go with me on that one. I knew you'd go. No, it should be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, 2 teams that have their very distinct styles. You know, Pango very much kind of divey, Complexity having their weird space-creating mid. I think we'll see maybe even a few new heroes come out here that we haven't seen so far at the tournament.
Bit of a clash of styles, Toby.
Yeah, a bit of clash of styles. I'm also interested to see what style Complexity brings. Like, you're talking about different heroes. Like, what is Complexity going to do? There was a couple of... it's hard to not have Kyle just sit there and go, I wish Complexity was doing this. But it's like, I'd like to see what they take from their review of their group stage games and what they bring into the main event.
And where we're going to see you both for the rest of the day? What are you up to?
I'm casting that series.
Yep, you're casting the second series. Toby,
I
you're
will
on the
be
last
casting the last series.
Yep, all right, good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Time for a break then here in India. We hope you're enjoying the coverage of our 4th day here at ESL One Mumbai. We're finally inside the dome with our passionate Indian esports friends, and they're not doing us at all bad right now. Great service in the first game for their home team. I'm sure they're going to be just as loud for series number 2, which is next.
Gabby's now going to turn on his 50 as well. 2 supports dead. TNC wipe out the Terror Blade as well. Armel comes back for revenge. What a beautiful save from Gabby. But they do manage to get a Wallace punch onto Armel. He's taking so much physical damage. Armel can actually finally lock down these heroes and kill them. They will be able to get it with that shotgun. It comes through.